The trail of faint, unnatural energy led Po not deeper into the tranquil forest, but towards the outskirts of Bhopal. The air grew heavier, tinged with a metallic tang and a sense of manufactured unease. Following the subtle vibrations that the spirit stones on his wrists now pulsed with, Po found himself standing before a dilapidated building, its sign hanging crookedly, Sharma's Toy Emporium, closed until further notice. Despite the sign, a low, rhythmic clanking and the occasional manic giggle drifted from within. This wasn't a place of playful creation anymore, it felt like a lair of something twisted. This was where the evil resided, the source of Chucky's unnatural animation. Taking a deep breath, focusing his Kai into the spirit stones as Shifu had instructed, Po pushed open the creaking door. The interior was a chaotic mess of half-finished dolls, discarded limbs, and piles of sawdust. Eyes, both painted and glass, stared blankly from every corner, creating an unsettling atmosphere. And amidst the disarray, perched atop a mountain of plush animals, was Chucky. He looked different here, somehow stronger, more connected to his surroundings. Dozens of vacant doll bodies lay scattered around him, like fallen comrades. His grin was wider, his eyes burning with a more intense malevolence. Well, Chucky cackled, his voice echoing eerily in the vast space. Look who decided to pay another visit. Did you miss me, Fat Panda? He held a larger, serrated blade this time, clearly scavenged from the factory's neglected tools. Chucky, Po said, his voice firm despite a tremor of unease. The spirit stones on his wrists pulsed steadily. Shifu taught me about the spirit inside you. You don't have to be like this. Oh, but I do. Chucky shrieked, leaping down from his perch with surprising agility. This is who I am. And this is where I thrive. He gestured around the decaying factory with a flourish. My playground of pain. The fight was immediately more intense than their forest skirmish. Here, amidst his inanimate brethren, Chucky seemed empowered. He darted between the piles of toys, using them as cover, his movements erratic and unpredictable. The larger blade flashed dangerously, forcing Po to rely on his agility and the defensive blocks Shifu had drilled into him. Po tried to maintain his focus on the spirit stones, channeling his Kai into them, hoping to create that field of spiritual disharmony Shifu had described. He could feel a subtle vibration, a faint hum emanating from the stones, but Chucky seemed unaffected, his attacks growing more ferocious. Suddenly, Chucky lunged, aiming the serrated blade at Po's face. Po reacted instinctively, raising his arm to block, but the blade was too fast. Just as the sharp edge was about to connect, a blur of green shot past Po, deflecting Chucky's attack with a swift, precise strike. Po, are you all right? It was Viper, her venomous fangs bared in a hiss. Before Po could answer, a streak of orange and black blurred past, Tigress landing in a crouch beside him, her eyes narrowed on the menacing doll. What is this thing? She growled. And why is it trying to fillet our friend? Monkey quipped, swinging down from a rusted conveyor belt, his staff twirling in his hand. Crane swooped in from a broken window, landing gracefully beside Tigress. It seems rather aggressive for a plaything. Mantis, the smallest but fiercest of the five, landed on Tigress's shoulder, his tiny eyes blazing. Let's squash this bug. Po's heart swelled with relief. The Furious Five, what a welcome sight. Guys, it's a long story. But this doll is possessed by a really nasty spirit. Shifu gave me these bracelets to try and cleanse it. He held up his wrists, showing them the glowing spirit stones. The Furious Five exchanged glances, a mixture of confusion and concern on their faces. But there was no time for explanations. Chucky, momentarily stunned by the sudden arrival of reinforcements, was back on the offensive, his small form a whirlwind of sharp metal and hateful shrieks. The doll factory became a chaotic battleground. The Furious Five, masters of their respective styles, moved with precision and power, but Chucky was surprisingly elusive, using the cluttered environment to his advantage. Viper's strikes were too wide for his small frame, Monkey's staff swished through empty air as Chucky ducked and weaved, Crane's aerial attacks were hampered by the low ceilings and obstacles, and even Tigress's ferocious claws struggled to connect with the doll's erratic movements. Mantis, though small enough to pursue Chucky into tight spaces, had to be wary of the doll's deadly blade. Meanwhile, Po tried to focus on the spirit stones, attempting to project his Kai outwards, but the sheer chaos of the fight, the need to avoid Chucky's attacks and not get in the way of the Furious Five, made it difficult to concentrate. Chucky, fueled by the dark energy of the factory and his own malevolent will, seemed to revel in the pandemonium. He laughed maniacally as he dodged Tigress's furious swipes, then lunged at Crane's legs, forcing the bird to take flight again. He even managed to nick Monkey's arm with his blade, drawing a hiss of annoyance from the agile ape. Po watched in horror as his friends struggled against the seemingly unstoppable doll. He knew he had to act, and he had to trust in Shifu's training and the power of the spirit stones. This wasn't just about stopping a toy, it was about confronting a dark spirit that threatened not just him, but his friends, and perhaps even the peace of the valley. He took a deep breath, closed his eyes for a moment, and focused all his inner energy on the glowing bracelets on his wrists. The fight was far from over.